Hello everyone. Welcome to my lecture series on embryology. Today I am going to discuss gametogenesis. As we see, this gametogenesis is made up of two words, gamete and genesis. That means the formation of gamete or the production of gamete. So, we can define gametogenesis as the process of production of haploid gamete from a diploid germ cells. Haploid gamete. The gametes are always haploid as we know. So, in the process of gametogenesis, the haploid gametes are produced from diploid germ cells. Now, the gametes are of two types. The male gametes, which is known as the sperm, and the female gamete, which is known as the ova. Now, sperm is produced in the male reproductive gonads, that is the testes, whereas ova, it is produced in the ovary. The process of producing sperm is known as spermatogenesis. The process by which the sperms are produced, it is known as spermatogenesis, whereas the process of producing the ova or eggs, it is known as oogenesis. So now we will take spermatogenesis and oogenesis one by one. So let us look at the process of spermatogenesis. Now, as I told you, spermatogenesis takes place in the testes. The testes, it is made up of large number of tubular, tubular structure, you can say tubular structure, the seminiferous tubules, and the wall of the seminiferous tubules, they are the primary germ cells and they give rise to the spermatids. So the wall of the seminiferous tubules will give rise to the spermatids, and this wall cells are known as the primary germ cells. So you can see the process of spermatogenesis starts from the primary germ cells present in the seminiferous tubules. Now, the entire process of spermatogenesis can be discussed under two headings. The first heading is formation of spermatid. So the first one is the formation of spermatid, and the second, it is known as spermiogenesis. Spermiogenesis. Now let us see how the spermatids are formed. We have to see it occurs in three steps, and we will discuss each step separately. So the first step, let us see the first step of the formation of spermatid. It is known as the multiplication stage or the multiplication division. You can see in this diagram, this is the primary germ cell present in the wall of the seminiferous tubules. These cells undergo mitotic division. I hope everybody knows what is mitotic division. In mitotic division, the daughter cells produced contain the same number of chromosomes. They have the same number of chromosomes, which you can see over here. Here the primary germ cells has 2 X chromosome, that is, it is in a diploid stage, and the daughter cells, they are also in a diploid stage. So 2N represents the diploid condition. Now each daughter cell will again divide by the process of mitosis and produce 4 cells, and they will be known as spermatogonia. Now this spermatogonia, we can see they all are diploid in structure. Now the spermatogonia enters the second phase, that is the growth phase. In the growth phase, no division occurs. There is no division of any type of cell, only the cell will increase in the size. Now how does the cell increase in the size? The size of the cell increases due to the accumulation of food, or we can say accumulation of nutritive substances secreted by the nutritive cells. Now in man, human being, we can say that this nutritive cell are the Sertoli cells. So the Sertoli cell in human will provide the required nutrition to grow in size to the primaries, to the spermatogonia. And now after the growth phase, the spermatogonia changes into primary spermatocyte. Now the primary spermatocyte will enter the third and the last stage, which is the meiotic stage. Now in the meiotic stage, we all know what happens. So I think we all are familiar with the term meiosis. Meiosis is a type of division where the cell undergoes 2 types of division. The first is the reduction division, and the second is the equational division. So as the word reduction means the number of the chromosome is reduced to half. So in the meiosis, the first stage is the reduction division, and the chromosome number is reduced to half in this division. As we can see over here, the primary spermatocyte undergoes the first meiotic division and produces n number of chromosome, which means the chromosome is now in a haploid condition. Now these haploid chromosome will undergo the second division, which will be the equational division, in which the number of the chromosome will always remain the same. So we can see here, there are 4 cells and they all contain the same number of haploid chromosome. So at the end of spermatogenesis, first stage, we find that spermatids are produced and they are 4 in number. So single cell is able to produce 4 spermatids. Now these spermatids, they undergo enters the spermiogenesis phase. Spermiogenesis phase. Spermiogenesis. Now, as the word itself says, spermiogenesis means production and sperm production. So the spermatids now undergoes transformation and becomes a mature sperm. Now let us see what are the transformation taking place during the formation of sperm from the spermatid. The first change, the first and the foremost change is in the size of nucleus. The nucleus is present, you can say it's the head of the sperm. So in the head of the sperm, we find the nucleus, and this nucleus becomes small in size due to the loss of water. The Golgi body, which is present, gets converted into acrosome. Golgi body forms the acrosome and it develops into a cap-like structure in front of the nucleus. So this acrosome is present in front of the nucleus. So we can see the nucleus is reduced, the Golgi body gets converted into caprosome, it becomes a cap-like structure and is situated in front of the nucleus. The median part is made up of mitochondria and centrioles. The two centrioles, they have a long axial filament. The centrioles develop a long axial filament which forms the tail of the sperm. It forms the tail of the sperm. So now a mature sperm is formed with a head having a nucleus, acrosome, a neck and a tail. With the help of the tail, it is able to swim in the fluid, whether it is water or the seminal fluid. And now the sperm is ready for fertilization. So with the formation and maturation of the sperm, the process of spermatogenesis is completed. Now let us look at oogenesis. Initial process of oogenesis is the same as it is in the spermatogenesis. Where will oogenesis take place? It will take place in the ovary, and the cell of the ovary will be the primary germ cells. These primary germ cells will undergo the multiplication stage, and then as a result of multiplication, as we can see, two daughter cells are produced. Now these daughter cells has the same number of chromosomes, which means it is an equational division. The number of chromosomes remains the same in the process of mitosis. Now these daughter cells again undergoes the second mitotic division, producing 4 daughter cells, each having an diploid number of chromosomes. 2n is diploid. So it contains diploid number of chromosomes. Now it is known as, this will be known as oogonia. All the 4 cells, they are known as oogonia. The oogonia enters the growth phase. That means no division will occur over here, only there will be increase in the size of the cell by the accumulation of the food materials, as well as increase in the number of cytoplasmic inclusions like mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi body. They all will increase in number during the growth phase, and the cell, the oogonia, will now change into primary oocyte. The oogonia will now be known as primary oocyte. Now in the primary oocyte, they will enter the second phase, third phase, that will be the maturation phase or the meiotic phase. Now what happens in the meiotic phase? The cell will undergo division. It is a meiotic stage. Therefore, the first stage will be a reduction division. So we find that in the first stage, the chromosome number is reduced to half. But here there is a slight difference from spermatogenesis. After the division by meiosis, we find 2 cells are formed. One cell is big and the second cell is small. The big cell is the secondary oocyte, and the small cell, it is the first polar body. Now the big cell, which is the secondary oocyte, they contain a prominent nucleus. They will contain what? They will contain a prominent nucleus and cytoplasm. The entire cell will be full of cytoplasm, whereas the polar body will have the nucleus, but it will lack cytoplasm, or in case if it is present, the quantity is very less. Now the secondary oocyte will enter the second meiotic division, that is the equational division where the number of chromosome remains the same. The secondary oocyte, the big cell of the secondary oocyte will divide and produce again unequal size of cell. The one which is big, it will be known as ovum. The one which will be small will be known as the second polar body. The first polar body was formed over here. Now the first polar body will again divide by the process of equational division and form two small polar bodies. So at the end of the meiosis, we find that there will be three polar bodies. Now these polar bodies will either disintegrate during the process of fertilization, or if present they will have no role to play. Now after the completion of first phase of the oogenesis, the ovum is formed, and what do we find? We find that from a single cell only one ovum is formed. From here in spermatogenesis we could see that there were 4 spermatids formed, but in oogenesis only a single ovum is formed, which will undergo the maturation phase. The ovum will now become ripe, and for being ripe, what will happen? The ovum will ripen and ovum ripens. So what transformation will take place? The ovum will be filled with yolk. It will be filled with yolk. The first membrane will be formed, that is known as the egg membrane, and following the egg membrane we will have the chorion in higher vertebrates, whereas it will be a vitelline membrane in case of amphibians. So after these 3 layers are added, the ovum ripens into an egg. So what are the 3 changes which take place? In the ovum, first of all, the egg membrane will be formed. It will be followed by the formation of chorion in higher vertebrates, whereas vitelline membrane in amphibians, and then it will be filled with yolk, and now our egg is ready to be fertilized. So in this way, we can see that as a result of spermatogenesis and oogenesis, the sperms and ovum are produced, which will later on be fertilized to form a zygote. So this is the end of my class of gametogenesis, and in the next class I will take you to the process. I will tell you the process of fertilization.